Okay, so shall we get started? Okay, now I'm going to spend, because actually we have spent a lot more time than I expected, but seeing your enthusiasm, we spend a lot of time. But the idea is, of course, it is something that you can take and use. Remember my promise that whatever I teach, whatever I discuss, you will be able to implement in your college effortlessly. So I'll stick to that. I'm going to show you things that are available for you, for your students, and also possibly how your students can contribute to that, and faculty also. So now I'm going to talk about FOSSEE, free and open source software for education. Okay. This method, if you see spoken tutorials, this was created for the bottom of the pyramid. Train all the people, then the students come and say, I have done this, tell me what to do next. What to do next. So for people who are contributing, we created FOSSEE, that they will create. We train lots of people through spoken tutorial. When they say, look, I know how to do, and then so they start contributing. In fact, I'm going to explain Scilab here. Anybody, how many people use MATLAB here? How many people use MATLAB here? Okay. So I'm going to show you about Scilab. What we have done for Scilab is not available in MATLAB also. It's a fantastic thing created by students of your colleges. 1,000 students from across the country and teachers from across the country. And that's a fantastic thing for the whole world. Whole world. World over people are coming and taking spoken tutorial without telling us. Without telling us. Because I don't know who they are. I only see different countries, including all our neighboring countries. They all come and take it. I say, fine. It's our contribution to the whole world. Right? Now I'm going to talk about Scilab, which is a great alternative to MATLAB. Okay. I will give a demo because we may not have enough time to go through all the slides. Slides I'm going to share with you, but let me show you what we have. If you want to use any software, you need documents. You need to know how to use the software. Now, spoken tutorial was started as a documentation process. An expert will go through a whole session, record the whole session using screencast, convert it into a video, give it to people. So you can also follow exactly what they did, you will be able to do. So the spoken tutorial started as a documentation project, but it became a training program, large training program. Okay. So I'm going to talk about another documentation project. Documentation project, because we said, look, open source is what we should promote. We should tell people how to use. Right? Make available good technologies developed by people all over the world at your fingertips. We should teach you how to use it, benefit by that. So spoken tutorial was created as a training, as a documentation project, it got converted into a training program. Now I'm going to talk about some other documentation project called Textbook Companion. Textbook Companion. So let me quickly go through this. What is a Textbook Companion? Generally, we need documents. There is a lot of open source software. Okay, a lot of open source software, but documents are not available. We need a lot of people to create documents. We have a lot of students. Can students write good documents? That's a question I have. When the students write code, do they write comments? Do they write good documents? So yeah, that's our experience also. Students don't mind writing code. You can make them write good code. But asking them to write documents, they can't write a word without spelling mistake. How will they write documents? A serious problem. But we have lots of students. Can we use students to create documents? That's a question we asked. And we found an answer to that. We said students like to write code but not documents. So let us solve the inverse problem. What is the inverse problem? Let us go to documents that we already have, ask them to create code for that. Right? So that is the inverse problem. So came textbook companion. You take a standard textbook, look at only solved problems. For every solved problem, give the code, Scilab code. So if I run the code, I should get the same answer as in the book. It's a solved problem, not unsolved. Not unsolved. So any teacher can say, okay, I am using this book. There are 100 solved examples. I know one student who is very good. I will ask her to give Scilab code for all solved problems. It's very easy for her also. First of all, she has understood. She was in the class, topper, good student, serious, and so on, dependable. Okay? Understood the whole thing. All that she has to, whenever she writes the code, she will verify immediately. Every step, am I getting the answer? Then I am going correct. Final answer is also correct. That example is over. Go to the next one. And I, from IIT Bombay, give 10,000 rupees for doing that. And I give a certificate. There was a student from IIT Madras who said he got an internship from a Japanese company because he got this textbook companion certificate. Right? So students also like it. And they contribute. Now I have for 595 books. Let's see how many books there are. So I have written 600 Scilab textbook companions. So a Scilab textbook companion is collection of code for all solved problems of that book. So typically if there are 100 problems, 100 solved examples in a book, then I will have 100 Scilab code. Okay? We have done it for about 600 books. 600 books. That means 60,000 examples. Right? So I will give a demo. So we have to go to cloud.scilab.in. That's a Scilab page. Now I select various topics. Engineering is there. So let's suppose I do electrical engineering. Okay, these are the books in electrical engineering. And then the internet seems to be a little slow. Okay, then subcategory, various topics are there. So let me choose automatic control. Let me choose the book BC Co. Those of you who work in control area will probably know. Then select chapter, let's say frequency domain analysis. So select an example because you need to know how to use it. Let's do it first. Let me take body plot. The moment I select, example comes, the code comes. See, the code has come. I execute. This cloud is hosted in Garuda Cloud in Bangalore. I have given this talk from all over the world, right? From Europe, US and so on. And this executes and it should give the results here. Normally what happens is, because, okay, here it is. Here is the answer. Let's see whether the code, the plot is supposed to come here. Not sure why it is not coming. Okay, it is a little slow, that's why it is not coming. Okay, body plot is supposed to come here. Okay, so let me close this. And notice the result of this calculation is here. It says transfer function, gain margin, phase margin, various things that happens in that example. Now suppose I say I want to change this value. 2500, I want to make it 5000. I want to change the gain. Okay, I go and change the value, I execute. Now, those of you who know this, so the margins have come down, you can actually see that. 8.7, previously it was 14 and 31, now it has become 8 and 17. So, this is available for many examples. So you want to try some other book? You want me to try? Should I try something in signal processing? Okay, let me try in signal processing. So here I should change, say signal processing DSP, okay. Select a book. So I have all these books. For example, let me make it bigger. Say Procus. Should I select Procus? It's a DSP book, right? Standard book. Okay, the moment I select it, then once again it shows the chapters. Okay, while it is downloading, okay, all the chapters of the book are available. So let's say design of digital filters. Selected the example 8.2.4, whatever that is. Then it will show me the code here. Then I execute, it will run, give the answer. I can modify it and do that. So if somebody says, I don't know how to use Scilab, I ask them, what course are you teaching? What book are you using? Here is the textbook companion. For all solved examples, so here it is, here is the code, right? Example 8.2.4, bandpass filter, right? It's a long one. I execute, it gives me the result. Whatever result that you see in the book, it comes here. If there are plots, you see the plots. If there are numbers, you see the numbers. You can modify, you can say that I am teaching fluid mechanics, I want to say what happens if I double the pipe length. Just go there, double the number, friction factor 1/10, what will happen? Just do that. If I am teaching chemical engineering, mole fraction, it is changed from 50% to 60%. What will happen? Change it and do that. I can also use it for what if studies. So I want to know how to use Scilab for first Fourier transform. So I open a book. In fact, let me show you that. In fact, this will be very useful for you. I will explain to you why it is. So for this I am going to go to our web page called scilab.in. In that there is something called, so let's go to textbook companion project, let me make it bigger. Okay, textbook companion project. So under that something called completed books. Completed books or 575. I told you 600, 575, what are these? It's all here. All these books are there. Okay? So you can go to any one of them. For example, if you say Procus, here it is. So I click that. Now this is for offline method. Offline. Because for the other one you need cloud. Cloud.scilab.in. In Garuda Cloud in Bangalore. What if you don't have cloud? What if you don't have internet? So this is where you do it in scilab.in. So the moment I clicked this Procus and Monolocus, it says you can download the code. This is the category, subcategory, title of the book. Who created? This is Professor Senthil Kumar from Institute of Road and Transport Technology in Tamil Nadu, E-Road, Tamil Nadu. He has created and made it available. Okay? And you can download the PDF, for example. If I download the PDF, okay, I think it's here. There it is. Now it has code after code after code. Remember, examples are in the book. To understand this code, you have to open the book. Open the book. We are not giving books. We cannot violate copyright. Question is, you have a book. You want to know how to use Scilab. For every solved example, it is here. Right? So I can even go here. For example, I want to see example 2.1.25 odd signal. I click this. It takes me to 2.1.25. So this document is available for every one of the 575 books. Right? Then Sorry? It's all there. Show you. It's there. We can see that. Once again. Once again. Let me finish what I want to say. I'll come and show other things. Everything is there. E-transfer is there. I'll show you. I'll show you. Right? Okay. So now that we are asking, let's just do that. Okay? Okay. You want to do antennas? There it is. You have so many books on antenna. Okay. You want fluid mechanics? Okay. Peerless, Hussain, fluid flow, Coulson Richardson. Okay. Mass transfer, elementary fluid mechanics. What else do you want to see? Everything is there. All your books. Now, if you don't have a book of yours, you tell me. I'll say, okay, ask your student to do it. I'll pay him 10,000 rupees. We'll upload it. We'll upload it. All your books are there. Is that okay? For all your books, every solved example, it is there. Sorry? I showed you so many examples. Okay, I will answer it. Okay, one of the problems that faculty members have, especially old people like me have, is that we don't use program every day. We don't write code every day. I have to go and teach, only then I have to remember. Very forgetful, right? With age, our cells are becoming grey. Forget. I don't even know the command. Forget about syntax. First I need to know the command, then the syntax. So one day, in fact, I wanted to set a question in partial fraction expansion. So I wanted to solve some problem using Scilab. I forgot the command. So what did I do? I went to Google, right? We already said. So I found, let me open this here. So I say that Scilab partial fraction expansion. So the moment I say that, it says the command is called PFSS. Okay, PFSS, partial fraction decomposition. So I found the command name. Okay, I got the command name. Then, okay, anyway, let me go there. So let me go to scilab.in. Scilab.in. And if you see here, there is something called search. Under search, TBC code search, I type PFSS. Remember, I got the command name from Google. Now I do a Google search on that command name, I'll get a million hits, but I can't use them. Right? Understand? Google search is not okay to find the command name, but to get examples on that, it's a problem. But then I have 70,000 examples created by 1,000 students across the country creating textbook companions. How? There are 575 books. If each book has 100 examples, I have 57,500. But there are some books that have more than 100 examples. But I have 70,000 examples. Let me search amongst that. Okay? So here is that. I am searching by PFSS. What is this command for? PFSS is for what? Partial fraction expansion. How did I get it? Google search. So here I search in this my scilab.in. It says how many examples found? 140 results found. See this? 140 examples have used PFSS. So now I scroll through. This one says engineering circuit analysis. Okay. This is height. Then I scroll down. Then I have another book. This one is by Ashok. The previous one is by some other people. Right? This way I scroll down. For example, this is some Sali Vahanan. And then this is Manke. Okay. I scroll down, keep scrolling down, then I say this book called Kofenauer. Okay. When I look at it, then I say, hey, this is the book I used when I was a student. I said, let me see what it is. View this example. Okay, I am answering your question. View this example. It immediately puts me on the cloud. It puts me on the cloud. Cloud is a little slow, but it will come, you can see it. I will run it, I can modify it, take it, give it as an example. Here it is. See this? Process control, process systems analysis and control. Okay, you can see this PFSS. Right? So I execute, I get the result here. I see the denominator, but the numerator is not coming. Can somebody tell me why the numerator is not coming displayed? Echoed? Those who know MATLAB can answer that. Semicolon. So let me remove that semicolon. Let me remove that semicolon. Execute. Scilab is 95% compatible with MATLAB. If you know MATLAB, you can do Scilab. So I am executing it. Now I got numerator also. I got the partial fraction. This is s plus 2. This is s minus 2. This is s plus 1, s minus 1. This is the polynomial. Numerator, denominator. So in fact, I can modify it if I want. Right? Because this is editable page. I can change some numbers. I've got a new problem. I've created a new problem by changing some numbers. Right? Is it useful to you? So it turned out that in this particular test, I didn't make any changes. I took the same problem and gave it to people. Modified thing cannot be saved on the cloud, but you can copy paste into your, and run it in Scilab. Open Scilab in your desktop. Scilab is open source. Scilab is open source. Sorry? These are all additional examples created on top of Scilab. Scilab is open source software, you can download it from the internet, free of cost, no need to pay anything. We are not promoting any commercial software. You don't have to pay a single paisa. Is that okay? Have I answered your question? Example, you wanted to see an example. We have lots of examples. We have 70,000 examples. Okay? Yeah. If the person does not have the book, we can't help. Because the book cannot be replaced. Book, they have to buy. Books are available for 300 rupees, 400 rupees, 500 rupees. Indian edition is not so expensive. When they go for a movie, they don't mind spending. They can borrow from library, they can borrow from their friends. Right? Yeah. Any other question? Scilab? Scilab is like MATLAB. Whatever you can do in MATLAB, you can do in Scilab. What is MATLAB? Same thing. Scilab is same thing. Scilab you have to download. Don't you have a copy of MATLAB on your machine? How did you install it? Similarly, Scilab can be installed. You have to download Scilab. It's free. Only thing is MATLAB you cannot download. You have to pay somebody. So for example, if you say Scilab download, all you need is internet. Once you say Scilab download, it says Scilab 6.0.1 download. Okay, here it is. Then it says, do you have Windows system, you have Linux system, you have Mac, which one? Then I say I have Windows 64 bits. Okay. Then it says thanks for downloading, but you give your registration. They want you to register. You register. Then you download. It will give you whatever zip file, whatever. Double click it. It will say, do you want me to install? You agree to all conditions. You say yes to all of them. It will install. This is how open source software works. Open source software is available from internet. When I say LibreOffice, LaTeX, every one of them, it's all available for download You don't need to ask anybody. You don't need to pay a single paisa. Is that okay? Is that okay? Yeah. Any other question? Yeah. Yes. Linux is open source, but it is still not popular. It is better than Windows. Yeah. We will need your help to promote it. We all use Linux. We need your help to promote it. Yeah. Yeah. Because we don't have time to talk about Linux, otherwise I can tell lots of things about Linux. We are all passionate. We are all passionate about open source. We are all passionate about open source. Because we believe that's the right thing to do. So we are passionate. Okay, any other question?